The screen was my prison, and I didn't even know it. For years, I was trapped in a cycle of endless scrolling, chasing fleeting dopamine hits from likes and notifications, while my dreams slipped further away. I was 27, living in a cramped apartment with a job that paid just enough to keep the lights on. My days blurred into nights, and my nights bled into mornings, all spent staring at a glowing rectangle that promised connection but left me hollow. I'd tell myself just one more video, but hours later I'd still be there, eyes burning, heart sinking, wondering where my life was going. I wasn't living. I was existing. And the worst part? I thought this was normal. I thought everyone was drowning in the same digital quicksand, too distracted to notice their own despair. But then, something snapped. I hit rock bottom one night, sitting alone in the dark, my phone's glow illuminating the bags under my eyes. I'd just missed a deadline for a project that could have changed my career, all because I was too busy binge-watching a show I didn't even like. That was the moment I realized I wasn't in control. My life wasn't mine. It belonged to the algorithms, the notifications, the endless noise. But that same night, I stumbled across a concept that flipped my world upside down. The Secret. Not the book, not the movie, but the raw, electrifying idea that I could manifest the life I wanted, not by wishing, but by taking back control. It wasn't magic, it was a wake-up call. I was done being a passenger in my own story. Let me take you back to where it all began. I grew up in a small town, the kind where everyone knows your name but nobody expects you to become anything big. My parents worked hard, but they never talked about dreams or ambitions. They talked about survival. I carried that mindset into my 20s, believing that life was about clocking in, clocking out, and numbing the in-between with my phone. By 25, I was spending 8 to 10 hours a day on screens, social media, streaming, games, you name it. I'd post a photo and refresh obsessively, waiting for likes to validate me. I'd watch influencers living their perfect lives and feel smaller with every swipe. My friends? They were drifting away. I'd cancel plans to stay home and scroll, telling myself I was too tired when really I was just addicted. I gained 20 pounds, my sleep was a mess, and my bank account was a running joke. I remember one night, sitting on my couch, eating cold pizza, when my best friend texted me, "You've changed, man. Where'd you go?" That hit harder than anything. I wasn't just losing time, I was losing myself. The turning point came in the form of a random YouTube video. Ironic, right? It was 2 a.m., and I was deep in a rabbit hole of self-help content, the kind I'd usually roll my eyes at. But this one video mentioned The Secret, not as some mystical law of attraction, but as a practical framework for rewiring your mind. The idea was simple yet earth-shattering. Your thoughts shape your reality, but only if you act on them. I'd spent years thinking about the life I wanted, a fulfilling career, meaningful relationships, financial freedom, but I was doing nothing to make it real. Instead, I was handing my power over to distractions. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to manifest a mansion or a private jet overnight. I was going to start small, reclaiming my time, my focus, my life. I turned off my phone, stared at the ceiling, and for the first time in years, I felt a spark of hope. But hope alone wasn't enough. I needed a plan, a real one, and I was determined to find it. This wasn't about chasing vibes. It was about fighting for the life I deserved. That spark of hope was fragile, like a candle in a storm. I'd spent so long letting my phone dictate my life that I didn't even know where to start. But I knew one thing. If I didn't take action, nothing would change. The secret wasn't about sitting cross-legged and wishing for a miracle. It was about rewiring my brain, redirecting my energy, and building habits that aligned with the life I wanted. I started digging, researching, and experimenting, determined to break free from the digital chains I'd wrapped around myself. What I found wasn't a quick fix or a magic bullet. It was a set of practical, deliberate steps that anyone could follow. These steps didn't just pull me out of the fog, they gave me clarity, purpose, and results. In just 6 months, I went from wasting 10 hours a day on my phone to using it intentionally for 2. I read 15 books, landed a side hustle that brought in an extra $3,000, and rebuilt friendships I thought I'd lost forever. Here's how I did it, and how you can too. The first step was brutal but necessary. I audited my time. I downloaded an app to track my screen usage, and the numbers hit me like a freight train. 9.7 hours a day on average, mostly on social media and mindless apps. I was shocked, but it was the wake-up call I needed. I started by setting strict boundaries. No phone for the first hour of my day or the last hour before bed. That meant no scrolling in bed, no checking notifications over coffee. I physically moved my phone to another room at night, forcing myself to break the habit of reaching for it first thing. It felt like withdrawal at first. My hands would twitch, craving the familiar swipe. But after a week, I started waking up clearer, more focused. I replaced morning scrolls with journaling, writing down one goal for the day, no matter how small. It could be read 10 pages or call a friend. This wasn't about manifesting through positive vibes. It was about training my brain to prioritize what mattered. Next, I tackled my environment. Your surroundings shape your behavior more than you think. I rearranged my workspace to make distractions harder and focus easier. I turned off all non-essential notifications. Those little red dots were like sirens luring me to crash. I used grayscale mode on my phone to make it less addictive. Without the bright colors, scrolling felt less rewarding. I also set up a focus zone in my apartment, a desk with no screens, just a notebook and a pen. Every day, I'd spend 30 minutes there planning my next steps. This wasn't just about cutting screen time. It was about creating space for my dreams. I started small, like signing up for an online course in graphic design, something I had always wanted to try. That one choice led to my first freelance gig, which paid $500, a number that felt like a fortune after years of scraping by. The third step was rewiring my mindset. The Secret taught me that manifestation isn't about wishing. It's about aligning your thoughts with action. I'd catch myself thinking, I'm too tired to work on my goals, or I'll never be as successful as those people online. Those thoughts were poison. I started practicing what I called thought replacement. Every time a negative thought crept in, I'd counter it with evidence of my progress. I read 10 pages yesterday, or I showed up for myself today. I also visualized my goals vividly, not just daydreaming, but picturing myself finishing a project, shaking hands with a client, or even just feeling proud of a day well spent. This wasn't fluffy self-help nonsense, it was mental discipline. Studies show visualization can boost performance by up to 20%, and I felt it. My confidence grew, and so did my results. Finally, I built accountability. I told my best friend about my plan to cut screen time and chase my goals. He didn't just nod and smile, he challenged me. We'd check in weekly, sharing wins and setbacks. When I slipped up and binged YouTube for 3 hours one night, he didn't judge. He asked, "What's the plan to get back on track?" That question kept me honest. I also joined an online community of people trying to live more intentionally. Sharing my progress there, posting about reading my first book in years or landing that freelance gig, kept me motivated. The best part? These steps compounded. Less screen time meant more energy. More energy meant more focus. More focus meant real progress. By month 6, I wasn't just dreaming of a better life. I was living it. My side hustle grew, my relationships deepened, and I felt like me again, not a zombie glued to a screen. These steps weren't easy, but they were worth it. And they'll work for you too, if you're ready to take control. I'm standing here now, a different person from the one who used to drown in a sea of notifications. My life isn't perfect. No one's is. But it's mine, shaped by choices I made, not algorithms. I'm not telling you this to brag or to say I've cracked some ultimate code. I'm telling you because I know what it's like to feel stuck, to watch your days slip through your fingers like sand, to wonder if you're destined to stay small forever. I've been there, staring at a screen until my eyes burned, feeling like the life I wanted was just a fantasy for someone else. But I'm proof it's not. The Secret didn't hand me a fairy tale. It gave me a blueprint. Those steps I shared, they're not just tips. They're a lifeline, and now it's your turn to grab it. You don't need to wait for rock bottom like I did. You don't need to lose friends or miss deadlines to realize your time is slipping away. You can start today, right now, and build the life you've been dreaming of. But here's the hard truth. No one's going to do it for you. Not me, not some motivational quote, not even the Secret itself. It's on you. So, what's it going to be? Let's be real for a second. You're watching this video for a reason, Nadine. Maybe you're tired of scrolling through lives that look better than yours. Maybe you're sick of starting each day with a phone in your face and ending it the same way. Maybe you've got a dream, a business, a skill, a trip, a relationship that keeps getting pushed to someday. That feeling in your chest right now? That's your wake-up call. Don't ignore it. Don't swipe it away. The life you want isn't out there waiting for you to stumble into it. It's waiting for you to build it. And building starts with one choice: to stop being a passenger and start being the driver. I didn't change my life by wishing harder. I changed it by acting bolder. I audited my time, reshaped my environment, rewired my thoughts, and found people to keep me honest. Those steps turned my someday into today. They gave me a side hustle that's now my main income, friendships that feel like family, and a sense of purpose I thought I'd lost forever. That's what's waiting for you on the other side of action. Not perfection, but progress. Not a fantasy, but a reality you can touch. So here's what I need you to do. Don't just watch this and move on to the next video. Don't let this be another fleeting moment of inspiration you forget by tomorrow. Take one step, just one, before you close this tab. Download a screen time tracker and face the numbers, even if they scare you. Turn off your notifications for the next 24 hours and feel the quiet. Write down one goal, no matter how small, and stick it where you'll see it every day. These aren't massive leaps, they're sparks, and sparks start fires. I started with a single journal entry. Read 10 pages today. That one choice led to 15 books, $3,000 in freelance work, and a life I'm proud to call mine. Your spark could lead to something even bigger: a career you love, a body you're confident in, a bank account that doesn't stress you out. But you won't know until you start. And if you're thinking, I've tried before and failed, let me stop you right there. I failed too. I slipped back into old habits, binged YouTube for hours, doubted myself 100 times. But I kept going because every small win reminded me I'm worth fighting for. And so are you. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's one thing you're going to do today to take back control? How many hours are you spending on your phone right now? What's that dream you've been putting off? Be honest. There's no judgment here. This community is full of people like you, people who are done with excuses and ready for change. And if you're serious about manifesting the life you want, hit that subscribe button. I'm dropping videos every week with real stories, practical steps, and raw truth to keep you on track. Don't just watch. Join us. Let's build something real together. One last thing. You don't need to believe in magic to manifest your dreams. You just need to believe in yourself enough to take the first step. So what's it going to be? The same old cycle or a new beginning? The choice is yours. Make it count.